This is IA Forward, your playbook for success as an independent insurance agent. Here to help you knock it out of the ballpark are your hosts, Shane Tatum and Tanya Lead.
Welcome to IA Forward. Today's topic may ruffle some feathers, but they're feathers that need to be ruffled in the crazy political climate that our country is in right now.
I don't really understand that whole concept. Why is it ruffling my feathers? Why can't people just be able to take criticism or someone else's view? Maybe it's not criticism at all. Maybe it's just someone else's view on something. Why does it have to ruffle feathers in the first place?
They are not listening to Tanya's life tip number 2, which is there are 3 things in life we cannot change: the truth, the past, and other people. And the only thing we have any control over is our attitude toward those things.
Oh, so attitude is a choice, is what you're saying then.
Attitude is, I may have been slightly more verbose in the way that I said it, but yes, attitude is a choice.
The political climate and really society, it goes on so many different levels, but this movement away from centrist, we are moving further apart as a society. Opinions are getting more and more drastic on either end. We used to look like a bell curve, and now we look like an M. You have this left and right, these really moving away from each other, and then you have this decrease in this centrist view of things. And when we're talking politics, that's the message: left, right, center. More centrist views. Politicians that find themselves moving into that area no longer get that majority. They get ridiculed by both sides. An actual centrist is a fence rider. You lose respect for trying to find compromise. You lose respect from both sides. There is this movement that has been going on for some time now, probably at least a couple of decades or decade and a half, where this has been happening. And we continue to separate, and we can find ourselves in the middle of this unintentionally with our businesses. And this is one of those things that we really ought to talk about openly and find help maybe with each other on how to deal with it.
I bring this topic up because I've seen on my social media, Facebook more than others, maybe some Twitter, that say things like, if you vote for X, or in some version of, if you don't think like I do, you're stupid, or if you don't think like I do, unfollow me, or don't do business with me. I don't want your business. Whether you're saying this from your business page or as a small business owner from your personal page, you are your brand. And I don't understand. I can't begin to fathom anybody in the small business world right now telling people to take their money elsewhere because they're going to vote for someone different. Their money's still green.
It comes to this thought of basically no stance is a stance now, that people feel like they need to take that stance publicly through their businesses. I understand that small businesses are a reflection of their owners, and their owners are a reflection of their businesses, and they are tied together. Insurance agencies, independent agencies are no different. And we are at the center of this whole thing and this whole conversation. And I really don't know where I fall on some of these things. It is a reality, depending on where you're located, depending on what your market is, that if you don't take a stance, it can hurt you. If you do take a stance, it can hurt you. And neutrality and staying quiet can hurt you, which is what we're talking about there. And so it's one of the most difficult times to make that decision or figure out what you should do. And I lean towards stay out of it with your business. But then you go down this path to what you're saying, where can you even separate that? Because when you're making these personal comments on your personal social media pages, they know that you're the owner of XYZ Insurance, because it's part of what you do and who you are, and it is that extension. So I'm not really sure that we have an easy answer or an easy out on this topic at all.
And this goes beyond your personal social media accounts. To me, this goes to comments made on other people's social media accounts. I see comments that are made, and even if they have the same belief system, the way they're saying it makes me not want to do business with them. It makes me want to take my business elsewhere. And I'm struggling with why some of these things need to be said publicly. Going back to, there's 3 things in life we cannot change. We cannot change other people by telling them they're stupid.
Arguing on social media in the first place is a dumb idea.
Did you just tell people they're stupid?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Thought I'd point that out.
I just did exactly what you told me not to do. But that is dumb. Arguing on social media. Let's just back up and let's dissect that for a second. When you comment on a post, unless it's congratulations, you got married, or I got engaged, or whatever, unless it's congratulations or something like that, when you're making a comment outside of that realm, aren't you pretty much always debating or arguing? Is there a situation where you can really make a comment where, other than congratulations or sorry for your loss or something along that lines, where you can comment free of debate or free of argumentative statements? I don't know of anything top of my head.
If someone asks a question of a fantastic place to have dinner and stay in New Orleans.
Okay.
There are things like that where, yes, there's really positive interactions that can happen. Now, the flip side of that is if I say the Roosevelt in New Orleans is the most fantastic place to stay, and I cannot wait to go there tomorrow. If somebody comes back and says, I stayed there and it sucks, then yes, that can turn argumentative. I'm probably not going to respond unless it's with, this is the name of the manager of the hotel. This is how to get in touch with them. Reach out and let them know that there was a problem. Now, I might respond with that information if I can help with that, but I'm going to be more likely to respond to that privately than in a public way. So yes, there are other ways to make comments.
To the point of that, I stayed there and it sucks, you're creating an argument. Why? Why do people feel the need to post that? Is it offensive to them that you had a great experience and they didn't? Is it offensive to them that you're saying, I stayed here, I had a great time, I love this place, or whatever? What actually makes it okay for someone to say, I stayed there and it sucked? Okay, because you put it out in the public domain on social media, that makes it public domain for them? Is that what we're talking about? But for that purpose, this doesn't resonate with me. And understand, I'm not a commenter. I'm actually not even really that much of a poster. I share on LinkedIn, not consistent enough, but I do it. And I usually have some kind of comment about find your way to the Integra Partner Network. I'm definitely not going to go out there and jump on the bandwagon of the negative comment. I'm most of the time not going to even jump on the bandwagon of the positive comment, other than congratulations or I agree or I don't know, it's a great hotel. But I don't even do that. What is the draw?
The opportunity to be heard. The opportunity that your opinions matter. In a society where we're in right now, where there is so much consternation and we feel as though we can't make a difference because there are things in play that are so much bigger than we are, social media gives us the opportunity to feed our ego and feel important.
Right now, we have this vile disgust for the other side. If you're Trump Vance, then Harris ? They just think you're stupid. And if you're Harris ? Then they think Trump Vance people are stupid. There's no middle. Like, how can you be for that person? How can you be for that platform? How can you be for whatever? And look, every one of us probably leans one way or another. And there are things from both sides of the political spectrum right now that make you go, can we have another candidate, please?
There's that element a lot.
We're exhausted as a society because we don't feel like we've got that much of a choice. I'm from a conservative area. I'm conservative. I'm going to lean conservative. But I am able to listen. That's the missing link to me, is we are literally saying, if you're on the other side, we refuse to listen. you're stupid.
Not only do we refuse to listen, we don't want to do business with you. What in the world?
Yeah.
Talking about being conservative, is there a sign on your door that says if you are planning to vote for the Democratic Party in the presidential election, don't come in my business, or vice versa? If you're not going to put the sign on the door, don't put it on social media.
So what is the basis of that? I'll take the debate format here. Is there a valid reason in this type of environment that we find ourselves in culturally for you to take that stance and literally say, I don't want to do business with someone who thinks this way, who votes this way? Is there some kind of reasoning of, I'm trying to hedge against potential problems down the road because I believe that person is someone who might cost me business in the future? What do you think is the motivation behind someone taking that stance and saying, I'm not willing to do business with you because of X?
As a longtime salesperson, I have come to understand that there are reasons that people think the way they do. And my truth and your truth and someone else's truth are not always the same truth. There are reasons that people believe the way they do. It's their background. It's their family. It's what they heard from the pulpit. It's what they didn't hear from the pulpit. It's the experience they had. It's the interaction they had with one single person at one single moment. It's the amalgam of life experience that brings you to where you are. I have learned to accept that the wondrous variety of people and thoughts that we have give us the strength to be a great nation. I don't understand the idea of looking at someone and saying, I don't want to do business with you. I would rather do business with that person, have the conversation, sit down over coffee, tea, whatever, and say, hey, what in your life experience makes you believe that? So I want to do business with people that think differently from me because I'm going to understand things better, and I'm probably going to get some really good ideas from that person because of their life experience.
Yeah, so you're going to take the mission approach to it. You're going to take the approach of, I want to understand, not I'm just totally against doing business with someone from the other political party. That's a valid approach. There are areas where we've seen happen in our country where that divide has taken on, like someone is asking me to do something against my beliefs. That is a different kind of connotation than I'm not going to do business with you because you're voting for the other political party. Like I resonate with your answer because I'm one that would want to sit down also and have dialogue. And I would not want to throw up a wall that prevents me from understanding someone.
There are people on both sides of this that are so quick to just make the assumption that the person that doesn't believe the way they do is the enemy. And it's dividing our country. I don't understand as a business owner or as a person, why we're willing to go on social media or have these conversations within families. And it's tearing families apart. It's tearing friendships apart because one person feels strongly about one party or another party and no one's willing to have that conversation. And the divide that is just getting deeper and deeper is actually really scary. And as business owners, I don't understand why we can't be a voice of reason and help people find common ground or just be open for business. It's one of those things that your job is to run your business, to make money, to create an extraordinary work-life experience for yourself, for your family. What does that ultimately have to do with who your customer votes for in an election in November? And why is it your business who they're voting for in November?
For years, voting, and it still should be, it still is deeply private. Outside of those funny interactions that you've heard about through time where spouses canceled each other's votes because they disagreed on something. Outside of that, this idea of anyone knowing who you voted for, when I was growing up, like that you just didn't ask somebody. Now, with the bullhorn of social media, we seem to think it's necessary that we tell people who we're voting for, or we tell people how dumb they are if they're voting for this other person. I like the statement you made. Is it any of your business? That's the question there that we have to come back to, is it really isn't any business of another person's who I vote for. And the fact that we are making that such a big deal. Hey, newsflash to all my fellow conservatives. Did you know that your presidential candidate was a Democrat until 2016 or something like that, 2015, like voted Democrat his whole life, was a well-known Democrat. We have this situation where we really think it's any of our business who that other person votes for. And we're appalled when we find out it's not the person that I voted for. Is it any of our business to talk about that, to ask about that? And I don't think it really is. Now, the one thing that I do think is good to talk about is I don't have a problem talking about politics with other people. People talk about, family gathering, taboo, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics, don't talk about whatever. Why not? If you can't talk about it, you're doing it wrong. Why can't we have more conversations about politics?
The key word you just used are conversations. Go into conversations, and going back to we as agency owners, as producers, we go into so many conversations as a way to persuade people to do something we want them to do. We're salespeople. Let's admit it. Let's just put it out there. We have a tendency to take these conversations, whether they're political or they're about religion or any kind of hot button topic, and we want to persuade someone to buy what we're selling, whether it's insurance or our religious beliefs or our political beliefs, instead of just listening to have the conversation.
I naturally get into persuasive conversation or persuasive type tone or language. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm not really sure how you reconcile passion for something and not have a little bit of persuasion in there. I'm passionate about the independent agency system, and I'm passionate that it is the best insurance distribution model on the planet. When I'm talking to someone and I'm trying to tell someone that they should be in this channel, if they're an experienced, successful sales agent, they should be in the independent agent channel. I am going to come across persuasively, okay? Very natural. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to be able to listen to them as they explain all the reasons why the exclusive agent system is better for them? No, I am open to that. There's brand recognition. There's lead generation that's a little better at times. There's all kinds of reasons to go, maybe this system's better for this particular person. At the end of the conversation, I'm going to still be persuasive that the independent agency system is the best system in my view.
We have such an extraordinary opportunity as business owners right now because no one is happy. The right is not happy. The left is not happy. There's so much negativity in the world that we have an opportunity as owners of businesses to be the voice of reason and hope and positivity. And people need that right now. And being that negative person, being that I don't want to do business with you, you're dumb if you don't believe what I do, after the first Tuesday of November, that does nothing for your business now, but it really isn't going to do anything for your business after the first week of November. So why not take this time to market yourself in a way that creates positive emotion? That's a no-brainer for me. Showcase what you're doing in the community. Showcase who you are. Showcase your people. Do all of the good things and share them with the world as opposed to being pro-left, pro-Democratic Party, pro-Republican Party, pro-cocktail party, pro-after party. I don't care what party you're involved with. I want to know how you, as the owner of a business, can help me and how you're helping my world. And if you can show me that on social, you get my business.
It's a great approach. I struggle saying this because I don't want it to come across the wrong way, because I'm not asking you to ride a fence. You really have to think about this from that social media standpoint, from the bullhorn, the giant megaphone that social media does give us. Back to the early comment of your opinion. You get to have an opinion. You get to have a voice. Does it matter? That's really when you get down to it. I love the idea of highlighting your people, highlighting your solution, highlighting your culture and who you are versus attack, versus using that voice as a business owner to be an attack-oriented thing. That's the part that doesn't make a lot of sense in business. I'm in a small town. I've been on city council. I've been on school board. You know, you serve on school board, you're not going to please everybody. It just is what it is. Okay. And my dad told me, you serve on the school board, you're going to make someone mad. And why is that? It's because people lose their minds when it comes to their kids. It's just the way it is. And you have a job to do, and somebody's not going to like the decision you make. I use that as an example because I made a choice to serve on school board, and therefore I made a choice to realize that somebody wasn't going to be happy about some choice I made at some point. As a business owner, you do have a choice to maybe bite your tongue, or at least structure the way you're having the conversation publicly or making the statement. And Tanya's right on this sort of attack-oriented language is really at the core function of this problem. You're stupid. You're dumb. You're an idiot. This attack language, number one, it isn't going to help your business. Number two, it's just not right. If that's what you're feeling, then turn and walk the other direction for a while.
Go play with your dog. Go play with your dog. Seriously. Do something warm and fuzzy.
That's right. Just be nice to someone for a few days and see if that helps your energy. Understand why we are where we are, because I don't feel like that's where I'm at personally. So I don't resonate with it. When I see it and I hear it, I'm like, are you kidding me? Wow. I can't believe someone would actually say that. I don't want your business if you're voting for the Republican Party or you're voting for the Democrat Party. That doesn't make sense. Take a break. Delete social media. Go on a week-long or a 2-week fast from social media. That may be your need.
And it's okay if somebody says something you don't agree with to keep scrolling.
Absolutely.
If it upsets you, there's the snooze button and the unfollow button, and they have no idea. And I've heard people say it'll hurt their feelings if I do that. And I'm like, it's snooze. They have no clue, and they really don't care.
You could also implement a little bit of what we experienced as parents with our children playing sports and coaches putting in the 24-hour rule. You could try that. Create a 24-hour rule for yourself when you see something that angers you or stirs something up. Like, you can't comment for 24 hours. And you know what? Maybe at the end of that 24 hours, if you're still so wound up, then bless your heart. But maybe you still shouldn't do it. But at least give yourself that buffer. Like, I would never advocate that you angry comment or get into social media arguments. But if you give yourself that 24-hour rule break buffer, then maybe you forget about it. And it saves you some heartache as a business owner.
And just remember, once it's out there, it's there forever, even if you go back and delete it. So many times I have seen the owners of businesses put something on social media, it gets screenshot, and then 3 or 4 years later, it gets brought back up. It gets put in a negative post under a connotation of something else, and it can be devastating. All of this to say, be nice. Be nice. You're the owner of a business. Your job is to grow your business. Your job is to make money. Your job is to serve your clients in the best way possible. Your job as a business owner is not to hate on social media. Just to remind you. I'm going to leave us today with this quote from Vince Lombardi. If you can't accept losing, you can't win.
Attitude's a choice. Make a great one.
Bye, y'all.
Ready to get the ball rolling with your independent agency? Learn more at IntegraAgent.com. That's IntegraAgent.com. Thank you for joining us on IA Forward. Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now or learn more at IAForward.com.